Well, I certainly have sold most of my shares around the world. I own more gold. I own more silver. I have a lot more cash, US dollar cash, but I am very cautious and worried. I guess worried is the right word now. Worried about what's going to happen. Up, but silver certainly moved up. It hasn't moved up as much as gold. And if I were going to buy one today, I'd buy more silver, but I would buy more of both. I'm going to talk about the stock market since that's what most people care about first. The stock market has gone up steadily since 2009. That's never happened before in American history. We nearly always have had a big bear market sooner than that. So this is the longest in American history. Washington says they've solved all the problems. There's nothing to worry about anymore. I, for one, don't believe Washington. I would suspect that we're going to have another unpleasantness in the market fairly soon. Well, the main thing is that stocks have gone up so long without a big problem. And that leads to overvaluation. That leads to lots of enthusiasm. I have not started selling short yet. I haven't seen wild exuberance yet, but I hope I'm smart enough to start selling short if and when the time comes. What happens is, in all markets, it goes up for a while, confidence build up, then new people come in, old people come back because they get confidence again. Things have been great for a while. And people say, well, okay, it's different now. Everything is okay. And when everything is okay and everybody's happy, start getting worried. And so far, there's more or less people are enthusiastic and confident. I don't see a lot of people panicking and selling their houses, and moving to another country. People are still confident. That's the word to use, confident. When people start using the word different, and you don't have to worry because it's different now, that's when you really get worried. Yes, I mean, the American economy and the world economy has done pretty well for a while without major problems. I haven't seen any wild hysteria in the markets yet. I own U.S. dollars, yes. I own a lot of U.S. dollars, not because it's a sound currency, but because I see some turmoil coming down the road. And in times like that, people look for a safe haven. History says that people think the dollar's a safe haven. It's not, but people think it is. So I own U.S. dollars. I hope when the time comes, I'm smart enough to sell my dollars. I own silver, I own gold, and I hope I'm smart enough to buy. In fact, I bought some more silver yesterday. I hope I'm smart enough to buy more of them if they go down. Yes, I own them, but I don't see at this stage of history to sell all my assets and put it into gold and silver. Those days may come, but I don't see them yet. To answer your question, I don't know yet. Yes, maybe bonds, but I don't want to own bonds. Inflation is going to come back and bonds will go down a lot. I repeat, I am looking and I don't know yet. It's all of the above. Whenever people get worried or confused, they buy gold or silver. And that's happening again. This has been going on for a few thousand years, and gold and silver have always had an attraction to people throughout history. I mean, remember Jesus Christ? He was sold for 30 pieces of silver because silver was the money then. Silver was the valuable asset then. And those sorts of things are starting to happen again. And somebody is buying gold and silver because they see that problems are coming. And I say, I bought a little more silver yesterday. Well, it's partially because silver is not on everybody's mind the way gold is. I mean, if you turn on the TV, you open the newspaper, the first thing you read about is gold because that's historically, traditionally, the safe haven. As far as I can see, that's the only reason now that it's not both, and that both aren't going up. But silver certainly moved up. It hasn't moved up as much as gold. And if I were going to buy one today, I'd buy more silver, but I would buy more of both before this is over. Well, as far as I can see, it's just that people need hard assets to protect themselves, meaning people understand they need hard assets, real assets, whatever they are. And copper is one of those. It's very liquid. It has many uses around the world, and people are trying to protect themselves. Maybe there's another reason. Maybe it's deeper, but it's certainly part of it. I know what's driving it higher is gigantic money printing all over the world in the last few months, years. And that has continued. Yes, they've cut back the money printing in some places temporarily, but Kai, I mean, I read the same newspapers you do. I see that people all over the world continue to print a lot of money. And historically, that always eventually leads to more inflation. And if you look at the debt situation in the U.S., I mean, it is really startling. It's more than startling. It's frightening. I don't know how the debt could possibly have gotten so high, and it continues to go higher. Nobody seems to notice. Nobody seems to care. So the debt situation is part and parcel of this problem, and it's getting worse. I mean, the debt in the U.S. is unbelievable, and has certainly never happened in history. But there's a gigantic amount of off-balance sheet debt. I mean, over 100 trillion. I mean, the numbers just cannot be comprehended. And nobody seems to. First of all, Washington doesn't even count them. They report the 36 trillion or whatever the number is, but they don't report the 136 trillion with all the off-balance sheet numbers. The numbers are overwhelming. This is not talking about Scott. This is talking about anybody and everybody, because the numbers are staggering and overwhelming. No country has ever had a situation like this, and I don't know what's going to happen. 100 years ago, it was Britain, and people said, oh, don't worry, the British pound is the gold standard for currencies. Believe it or not, 50 years later, 1976, Britain was bankrupt. They went from number one in 1925 or whatever that was to totally bankrupt in 1976, bailed out by the IMF. It has happened before in history, often, and it's going to happen again. I don't like saying it, but I can see what's coming. And I can add, I can subtract, I know the numbers. The numbers are going to overwhelm us, and at some point, it's going to be too late. It'll be on the evening news every day. The situation will be so dramatic. It's not there yet. Most people in the evening news don't know about the debt, but there will come a time when everybody will know about it. Oh my gosh. And that's called a serious bear market. I've seen this movie before. This is not the first time that a new administration has come in and said, okay, we're going to solve the problem. Pretty soon people start saying, wait a minute, this is too much pain. This is a serious, serious problem. We cannot go that far. That's too much. And they back off, and the situation gets worse. Maybe this time they will be serious. If they're really serious and they cut spending that dramatically, it's going to be a huge bear market. But that's why I don't think it will last, because when people start feeling a lot of pain, they start screaming and complaining and beating on the walls. And that's when people change their mind. I've heard this before. Yes, they're saying it, but they've said it every 4 years. They said it every 2 years. They always say it. Do they ever follow through? No, not when it gets to be painful. Well, the American economy has been expanding since 2008, 2009, and it's still going on. But I think I see signs that we're coming to an end. Whether I see it or not doesn't matter. I know that this economy will slow down somewhere along the line. I know that historically we're getting there already. And when it happens, it's going to be terrible because the debt is so unbelievably high now. And we're all going to scream. Higher interest rates, inflation, debt, all of these things are adding up. Now, you could say this has happened before. It certainly has. But I'm afraid that now is to the point where it's so high and such a big problem, it's going to have more of a dramatic effect on all of us in the next year or two. Well, I certainly have sold most of my shares around the world. I own more gold. I own more silver. I have a lot more cash, US dollar cash. So it's changed in that sense. But I am very cautious and worried. I guess worried is the right word now. Worried about what's going to happen.